Hey, welcome to Vibe Coding, a different kind of coding course. In this course, you are going to build your first web app from scratch. No fluff, no filler, just real hands-on coding. You will learn how to build a functional to-do app with modern tools, style it so it looks clean and professional, and finally, deploy it live so you can actually share it with others. The goal here isn't to turn you into a pro overnight, it's to give you the fundamentals. Once you build this, you will have the confidence and the structure to go on and create your own real world web apps. So if you have been stuck in tutorial hell or just want a straight path to building something real, you are in the right place. Let's stop overthinking and start creating, and let's vibe. Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to be trying to create a to-do application from scratch using just ChatGPT. So again, as you might have already understood from the course introduction, this particular course is about how to utilize tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or other such LLMs to create powerful web applications, and the official term for that is vibe coding. So essentially we vibe more and we create more. Okay. So I'll be showing you what exact process you have to follow for following along this particular video. Okay. So as we already know, we need to open any of the uh, any of the LLM that you might be familiar with. Most of you might be already having ChatGPT, so I'll be opening that really quick. Okay, so when you open ChatGPT, depending upon when you are watching this video, you might see something similar or something different. Okay, so we have these bunch of options. All right, so we see these options which might not be available for you, as maybe ChatGPT gets new updates in future, but that's not the point. What is the point? Okay, the point is to be able to create the to-do application and to be able to run it, to be able to view it on our laptop. Now, who is this video for? Obviously, I have talked about this in the course introduction, but I would like to again emphasize that this video is for complete beginners who have never coded and they want to launch their web applications. Okay, so before I do that, I would like to show you one feature, which is the feature of projects. Okay, now what you can do is you can you can click on this new project and you can create a project here. Okay, so maybe I can name this as vibe coding, and all the chats which I do with ChatGPT will go here. Okay, now what I do is I can close out this window and now I can start chatting within this project. Okay, so what is the plan? The plan is to be able to create a to-do app. Let's ask it to create the to-do app. As you will see, it is going to be an iterative process. So first of all, let me prompt the chat GPT that create me a to-do app. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so it is writing a bunch of code. Okay, all right, so we see it is writing bunch of code, and again, as a beginner, you don't need to know anything about what exactly it is doing, but let's see what is happening right now. Okay, let's wait for some more, maybe seconds or minutes. So it is writing bunch of codes. All right, so it's saying done. You have got a clean and interactive to-do app using React with Tailwind and shared CN UI. Now, what are all these tools like React, Tailwind, or shared CN? You don't need to know at this point. Okay. So now what I can do is I can quickly preview and interact with this web application here by going to and clicking on this preview feature. All right. So it is opening our to-do app, and you see this that our to-do app is ready. Okay, so let's interact with it. Maybe pick up let me add my first to do pick up grocery. Okay, so it has added pick up grocery, and we have this check mark option, and we have this delete option. But let's add a bunch of more tasks to be able to see how it is functioning right now. Okay, maybe pay the ChatGPT subscription fee. Okay, all right. So now let's test its delete feature. First of all, let's test it check mark. Okay, so when we click on check mark, it nicely does this green color, and it strikes through this text like this. Now I can also delete this. All right, so it seems to be functioning quite well. But the point is that how do I run this app on my laptop? Currently, the way it is running is it is running on a ChatGPT server. Okay, how do I take the code that I have? Now, where do I take the code? So let me click on Todo App, and let me maybe, so from here, let me stop it, and we see this. This is the entire code. Now, where exactly do I paste this? Where exactly do I paste this code to be able to see it within my within my laptop? Now you don't know anything about this entire process, so why not ask ChatGPT that what can I do to be able to view this application on my laptop? Let's ask it. Okay, I want to view this app on my laptop. How can I, or maybe I can say in Chrome, maybe, or although it does not matter because this code works on all browser. How can I run it? How can I view? How can I do that? How can I take this code and view it there? Okay, let's run it. Let's see what it says. All right, so it is basically uh, allowing us to go through these sequence of steps and execute this project. So it is telling us the step-by-step instruction, right? Now, the point is that if I don't know about even about terminal, okay, although it is very highly unlikely that you don't know about terminal and all, but still assume that the the viewer of this course is a complete beginner. They don't know anything about this entire process, and they would like to understand it. Okay, now there are a bunch of jargons which are being thrown here, right? Now how do I exactly solve this issue? Okay, so let's ask it. I am a complete beginner. I am a complete beginner who does not know about these things like terminal, npx, etc. Can you guide me as if I know nothing, exactly telling me entire sequence of steps, step by step, okay, in detail. All right, so let's run it. Okay, let's see what now we can close this to do app, because if we have to copy it, we will copy it sometime later, but right now we are waiting for the response from ChatGPT. Okay, it's saying awesome, I'll guide you like you are brand new to this. No coding or tech background needed, just follow these exact steps. All right, let's follow it. It says install node.js. Now the question arises, what exactly is node.js? See, this is the beauty of ChatGPT. You don't need to know about all these tech and all these individual components. Obviously, it does help if you know it, because if you know it, you will be able to use these AI tools like ChatGPT in a much more efficient way. Because let's say I already know what Node.js means, but if you don't know it, this is not a prerequisite, but it would have been a lot faster for you. Okay, and that is why I always tell students and anybody who is trying to enter this field that learning is not going to be dead, thinking is not going to be dead. You will have to think for yourself, and you will have to be able to ask and prompt chat gpt with better questions. Because uh, if you know these terminal and node.js, it would definitely help and expedite your process. Okay, now don't think that if you can rely completely on llm, although that's also possible. There is no denying in that, but it is not advisable. Okay, all right. So now it is telling us what node.js exactly does. Okay, so now let me first of all open node.js, right? All right, it is saying it allows us to run javascript everywhere. Now if you had been in a technical class, I would have told you that javascript only runs in a browser, and node.js allow us to run javascript even in non-browser softwares, but you don't need to know that. Okay, so you just download this, and the moment you download it, you will get a executable. You install it. What will happen is, after you download it, you can basically test it, and it is guiding you that download the LTS version, and it is telling you that download the LTS version. The button says something like LTS recommended for most users, right? Okay, and open the downloaded file, install it like any normal program. Just keep clicking next. Okay, now I'm not following along this because I already have. Or wait a second, let me try it. Okay, let me download this node.js environment. Okay, and let me follow along this installation with you, because although it is already installed on my system, but I would like to see how does it go. Okay, so when you open this node.js installation, it says preparing for install, and it says please wait while the setup wizard prepares to guide you through the installation. All right, migrating features. So it is basically, yeah, so we can click next. All right, I accept the terms. I'll click next, 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 and then finally install, and it will obviously ask me for my permission. All right, so we see that node.js is being installed, and while this is being installed, I'll probably pause this video and then re-record it, or maybe it's done, I guess. Let's wait it and let's resume after it is done. Okay, so node.js is installed, so I'll click on finish. Now let's go back to the ChatGPT window. So it says this also installs npm. Now what is npm? Obviously you can ask and prompt ChatGPT to explain you what npm is, but it is quite self-evident that it is some sort of package manager which lets you install more packages. Now open your terminal. Now what is terminal? It is guiding you. It is guiding you through the process. So on Windows, press Windows key. So I'll press Windows key. All right. Now I'll press CMD. CMD. And you see this command prompt. Let's open it. All right. So we have opened the command prompt. All right. So this is where we will type all the commands. You have got instructions for Mac. You have got instructions for Linux. All right, let's move on. Now create a new React app. Okay, so in the terminal, wherever you are, it would help. So currently you can see that you are in this folder. You are in C, users, and Rahul. It helps when you are in a folder where you want your project files to be stored. So I'll close this and I'll show you something. I have created this vibe coding folder. Now I will go here and I'll type cmd and I'll open the command prompt right here. Okay, also let me tell you about one more key feature. If you want to see whether a command exists on your command line or not, you can type it. So if I click npx and if I hit enter without doing anything, you see this, it is waiting for some time, which means it is probably installed. So it is saying okay, so entering npm is script location, yeah, okay, all right, so it is installed, I guess. So we can also click node and we enter this node environment and we can exit it. Okay, 1 second. All right. So now what else can we do? We can just type out this command. Now what is this command? We don't need to know all this. When you want to have more granular control over this entire application, you can learn about this stuff. Again, as I mentioned, learning will never stop. You will have to learn. Okay, so notice here currently this folder is empty. If I hit enter, let's see what happens. So it is doing bunch of things. You see this? And it is saying need to install following packages. Okay to proceed. And if I hit enter, so it is basically installing create React app. If I do yes, okay, so it is installing. So it is saying create React app. It is doing bunch of things. Let's let it do its job and wait for some time. Okay, and let's see our yeah. So we see this to do app. So we have a new folder within our project folder. Okay, so you see this, it has done all these things, and obviously there are some warnings in red color, but right now for this small scale application we can ignore it. But again, if you want to know more and dig more, you will have to learn. You will have to learn using ChatGPT. You could have learned it using maybe a YouTube video earlier when LLMs were not there, but now you can get quick answers, right? Okay, so let me clear my screen by doing CLS. Now CLS is used in Windows system, but if you are on Mac or Linux, do clear, but clear will not work on Windows. Okay, so now what can we do? So we have our project ready. Now let's go back to this. So this will take a few minutes. Again, it's true, it took a few minutes. It's downloading full React project template from the internet. Be patient. Now it's saying go into your app folder. So if I go inside this app folder like this, I see these bunch of files, right? Obviously this contain the actual code that holds your application, but I don't want to go inside my app like this graphical user interface. I want to go it like this. So it is saying cd and to do app. So now you understand. Now you will start to see patterns. So to do app was used here, to do app was used here, and then there was a directory which was created using to do app. So this whole thing now start to make sense. So I'll do cd and to do app, and if I go inside this, now my path with which I am working has changed. So now my new path is to do app. Okay, so what can I do now? So it's saying now you are inside the folder of your new app. So it's saying step 4, open the project in VS Code. Now what exactly is VS Code? It is telling you to download a code editor. So VS Code is just like a code editor which allow you to basically edit the code. You can skip this step, to be honest. You don't need to run this because essentially the code that you want to edit, you can edit even in Notepad, right? So right now I don't want, since it is a beginner tutorial, I don't want you to basically get bogged down because sometimes it can have issues, Visual Studio Code installation. So I want to skip it. So I don't want to edit my code using this method. Okay, now let's move on. So it's saying in the VS Code editor, open this file. I don't need to open the file using this Visual Studio. I'll go inside this. I'll go source and I see this bunch of files, but I need to open a app.js file. Now, how do I identify app file? I got app, an app, and there are a bunch of files, right? But which one is the JS file? How do I know it? That would have been made easier by Visual Studio, I know. But if you see the type of this file, it is a JavaScript file. JS stands for JavaScript, right? So you need to open this file. Now when I click it, it will automatically take me to the Visual Studio Code editor, but I don't want to do that. So I'll close this and I'll right click it and will open it using Notepad. Okay, so let me choose another app and I'll open Notepad. You see this entire code is written in Notepad. Obviously it's not fancy looking, but I'll just remove this and I'll come back to the GitHub. Now paste the entire to-do code that I give you. So you see it understands himself as a person. It is basically saying it's very funny that I gave you. Okay, so now let's go back to the to-do app that it created. Let's resize it and let's copy it and let's go back to the app.js and let's paste it. And if I save it, it's saved. And now let's close this file. Okay, so now let's see what next steps the ChatGPT is basically recommending us. Okay, so we have replaced the code. Now we have saved it. Now we have to start the app. How do I start? Let me go to the terminal. It's saying npm start. If I do npm start, what will happen? Let's see. Okay, oh my god, something is happening, right? But what exactly is happening? You don't need to worry about all these things. See, entire application has automatically opened in a new link on my browser. Now this application is currently living on my own system. But you see this? It has got some errors. What are those errors? We will fix it. But the point is that we have been successfully able to run this entire application on our own using the ChatGPT. But we will fix this error. But there are so many things that you need to learn, and people are just saying that everything will be agent driven and all those things. You don't need to believe on all those I would say bullshit, because learning will always remain relevant. How do you fix these problems? How do you know what exactly is this link? I know ChatGPT knows all of that, but humans will be relevant, always relevant. Okay, don't think these type of things. So here ChatGPT made a mistake. It assumed that we installed all our packages. Now let me do one thing. Let me copy this entire code, the entire error, and let me paste it here. And let me see. Let me give the context to the ChatGPT. So I'll say when I tried running the app using npm start, a new link opened in Chrome with, I'll copy. Why I'm pasting all these and unnecessary things, although ChatGPT would have solved only if I told him that packages were not installed. But I like giving ChatGPT more context because it definitely helps when I'm asking more questions to ChatGPT on these related parts. And I'm giving you this detail because since you are a beginner, you would be needing to know what localhost means, because essentially in later parts you would have to take your app and put it somewhere so that the entire world can see it. Okay, so now coming back to the code, the following errors are displayed. Or some beginners can also not recognize that these are errors. I recognize this because I've been working with these systems for quite some time. So you might be having difficulty understanding these as errors. You might be thinking something is going on. So you can simply tell the ChatGPT that my to do was not visible. Okay, my to do app was not visible. Let's run it. Okay, perfect. This is very common issue and you are almost there. So it is basically encouraging us. Let's fix it step by step. And it is telling you why the error happened. So your current code uses this kind of import. All right. This assumes you are using a UI library called shadcn UI and you have already installed and configured it. But since you are new and didn't install this manually, your app doesn't know where to find these components. Easy fix. Replace the fancy UI with simple HTML. Let's replace your current code. Okay, so it has rewritten this entire code again. So let's copy it. So now what I need to do is I need to again open the app.js. Okay, so it has again opened using the Visual Studio Code. So, but I would like to open it using Notepad. I'll remove this and I'll copy paste this new app.js code. Now let me go back to the, okay, so it is saying, so save and run, save the file, go back to the terminal and type again. So now if I go to React app, okay, boom. So now everything is solved. Our npm error is now, it is saying compiled successfully. Why was that error coming? If you want to know, if you are curious, you have to be curious, right? Why was that error coming? Earlier, if you had to know, you had to go to Stack Overflow and you had to read through answers. But now you have ChatGPT, right? You can dig deeper. Okay, isn't it fantastic? Isn't it amazing, right? You can literally learn everything. All these sequence of steps you can ask and take help from ChatGPT. But anyway, let's test it out. Okay, pick grocery. All right, you see this? Now something has changed. So if I click on this, so obviously it's not that fancy. If I compare it with, let's say, the earlier version which was using some external components, but we will get there. We can obviously extend our knowledge to use external components and make our app even better. But the point is that we are able to do it. I can delete it. I can add more task. Okay, I can add task B. I can add more bunch of tasks. Okay, and I can delete it. I can make my tasks completed. I hope you are able to follow along this entire video. And I know this video has been a lot longer, but I wanted to get this point understood very clearly. Okay. Now what else can we do now? See, now it's entirely up to your imagination, because the app is running on your local system. The only thing that you need to know is you need to instruct ChatGPT. Maybe let's make our first change. Okay, what I can do, I can tell ChatGPT that I don't like the design. Although I did not tell it specifically what it needs to do, I'm just vaguely, very, in a very vague manner, I'm telling the ChatGPT that I don't like the design. Can you give me a new code which improves its design much professionally? Okay, so now what it can do is it can suggest us to install external libraries. But I will tell ChatGPT, but I don't want to use external libraries. Everything should happen using pure HTML CSS. Okay, so HTML CSS, now here again, I'm able to write this line because I know what HTML and CSS are. Okay, so those things I know. And if you don't know this, you would probably have given this first instruction and you would have got maybe frustrated when it had suggested you to install library. Although that is also not difficult, but I feel installing library at the beginner stage is sometimes can get tricky, but we'll get there. Let's run it. Okay, so it's saying internal. Let's retry it. Oh my god, so it's saying, so let me copy this prompt and let me reload it. Something is off with the server most probably. Okay, so if I copy it, Okay, so internal server error is coming. So let me fix this error maybe. So I'll pause this video and try to fix it. Okay, so the internal error issue was solved. So now when I told it to do this, all right, so it's saying app.js copy this new code. Okay, let's the code is still being written. Let it complete and then we will copy. Okay, let's wait for it to complete. So it is saying, got it. Let's upgrade your Todo App with clean, professional looking design using just pure HTML, no external libraries or frameworks at all, which we have included within our prompt only. You will replace your current app.js with a new one below and create a simple app.css file for styling. Okay, so now it is telling us to create a app.css also. Let's see, this is something new. So now if I copy it and if I go inside and if I try to open app.js file with my notepad, okay, so let's save it and let's try to view the app right now. So you see the app looks very clunky. Okay, why it is looking clunky? Because now the styles are being taken care by app.css. Let's open it using the notepad. By the way, I did not mention that this particular folder also contains this app and it is a CSS file. So if I open it, I'll just get rid of this entire code and I'll copy this new code that ChatGPT wrote for me. Okay, so now if I copy it, paste it and save it. Immediately after saving, oh my god, this looks awesome. If I reload it, okay, so I can add tasks. So let me write down pick up grocery. Oh my god, this looks so clean. Okay, so I can delete it. I can add more task. Maybe add a maybe I don't know. Maybe random tasks. Okay, random task 2. All right, so this looks good. I can close out some tasks and it does this grayish kind of thing which basically blurs the task. Okay, this looks good. So what else can we do? In fact, you can do anything. You can let your imagination design this entire app. Let me do one more change and then I'll close this video. And in later videos, we will be talking about some different parts of the web development lifecycle which are important and which you can learn and figure out using ChatGPT only. And that's vibe coding for you. Okay, anyway, coming back to the discussion. So now what we need to do is we need to tell it to apply some gradient, apply in some nice looking professional style gradient colors. Okay, all right, let's see what it does. Oh my god, so again it's doing, so there's something off which is going on with OpenAI API right now. Okay, let me pause this video. All right, so after trying for 5 minutes, it solved, the issue was solved. But sometimes it can get frustrating. But given that you can get quick answers using LLMs, I think you can wait for 5 or 6 minutes of glitches. Okay, anyways, so now we have this new style. So it's saying no changes to app.js. The only thing that you need to change is this CSS file. Let me copy it. Let me open this app.css file. Let me open with Notepad again as usual. Let me remove this and let me paste it. And let's see this. Let's see the magic. Oh, let's reload it. Oh, this is looking good, but I did not like this gradient choice, although it's looking fine. Okay, so I'll say buy stuff, pay bills. Okay, so it has applied gradients to here as well, buttons as well. So I can delete stuff, I can click out stuff. Okay, okay, this looks good. Yeah, so this looks good. I can further ask the ChatGPT to maybe add more features, but you get the point, right? You ask it and let LLM do the job for you. You only think important stuff. Okay, so now in the next set of videos we will be talking about other steps which are important when you have developed applications, um, which is basically running on your own local system. Okay, so now I have this app ready and I want the entire world to see it. What are the next potential steps we can do with it? And again, there also ChatGPT is going to help out with majority of these steps, and I'll show you how it will look like. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this long, close to 40 minutes of video where I showed you how you can use ChatGPT to build a to-do app. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Hello everyone. So in the last video, we left with this to-do application which we created entirely using ChatGPT, and we also modified our app and ran this app on our local machine. The next obvious question that arises in our minds is, how do we take this app and let anyone, any of our friends or family members, or for that matter anyone, how do we let them use our app? Okay, because this link that you see right here, localhost colon 3000, this is called as local link, and it will only work on our local system, and that too as long as this particular command is running. So it is always listening to this uh, local host or our local my local network wherever I have ran this application. So the next question is, how do I take this application, whatever I have with me over here, and put it online, put it on internet? Now the technical term for what I'm describing is known as deployment of the application. How do I deploy my application? Okay, so when we say deployment, there are few things I would like to quickly talk about before I move to the chat GPT window and start interfacing and talking with it to be able to help me to deploy my app. So first of all, when we say deployment, what we are essentially trying to say is we want to put our app's code, whatever code that we have, and put it on some server. Now what is server? Server is just like our computer, so this is also, you can call this as a server. So I want to put my code, put my app's code to a server which is always on and always running. Now what will happen to this link if I switch off my computer? It will die, right? Because this process that is running this particular npm start, it will just stop as soon as I stop this, I switch off the laptop. So the question arises that how do I find that server which is switched on 24 by 7? I can also take my laptop and turn that into a server, but the maintenance is something that we probably don't want to do ourselves. So that is why we rely on other providers to do this for us. And you must have heard of providers such as AWS, GCP. All these providers are providing their servers, their compute powers to us. But then on the other hand, we also have some free providers, okay, which do not charge a penny for, let's say, a starter projects. Okay, but obviously as our application grow, we may need to integrate few other things that um, might not allow us to do the deployment on the free version of their offering. So in that case we would have to go for paid option. But with our situation, we have a simple to do application which we want to deploy, and to be able to do that, we just need to opt for any free version, and we are good to go. Now how ChatGPT helps us here? Now what I can ask is, at this point, since as you all must be beginner, you can simply ask ChatGPT that I want to put I want to put this app online. How can I do this? Now, if you if you if you enter this kind of prompt, it will it might give you several suggestions, and also it might overwhelm you with jargons and various and loaded terminologies. Okay, so in that case, what we can do is we can, within our prompt, how can I do this for free first of all? Okay, and guide me guide me step by step in a beginner friendly way. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, now it is basically giving us several suggestions. Okay, it is giving you a GitHub account and Netlify account. Okay, so we will be going through this process slowly, one by one. Okay, I'll be basically using a new email to do all these steps. Okay, all right. So how do we do this? It says we will use GitHub to store your code and Netlify to publish it. Now, what is GitHub? GitHub, as I already mentioned, that you can ask ChatGPT if you have any doubts. But in short, GitHub is a code hosting platform. You can host your codes, and it provides you with a link URL to your code, which you can essentially provide to Netlify, and Netlify will be able to take that code and publish it. All right. Now, for the GitHub, I will not be going through the exact process which happens when we have to log in and register for GitHub. That I'm assuming that you all can do. So you just need to go to github.com, and you have to sign up for a new account. Okay, I already have got one account. So, and you can see I have already got this profile created, so I don't need to create an account, but you should be able to do that because it's not a difficult task. But I don't have a Netlify account. That's new for me because I entered this command in front of you, because if you run this command you might face some other suggestion. Maybe uh, ChatGPT recommends some other options, but most probably it will recommend Netlify because it's free, and its free version suffices for a beginner friendly application. Okay, so now let me open Netlify. Okay, here I will be going over the exact registration process. Okay, so I'll click on this sign up. Okay, and I'll say sign up with GitHub. I'm not sure if my account is already there, uh, already attached with it or not, but let's give it a try. So I'll say sign up with GitHub because GitHub is already logged in. So now it will ask me. Okay, so now it has signed up for from my GitHub account. Now we have got this dashboard. Okay, I don't know at this point what do I need to do, but let's go there. Although one thing which I would like to mention here is that once I clicked on sign up with GitHub, it did not ask me to provide the permission, because this indicates that I might have already had the account associated with GitHub on Netlify, and that's why it did not ask me this. Okay, so now it says step by step upload and host. Now what it is giving me? Git init. What exactly is this? So it says, okay, so open your terminal in the folder where your app is. Now what I'll do is I'll go here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll quickly open a new terminal. Okay, because I don't want to interrupt this one because it's already running my app. Okay, and I want to navigate to this directory, so I'll copy this directory. Okay, and I'll cd into it. Cd means change directory. Okay, so I think I did not open the command prompt, so let me open command prompt. 1 second. So I'll say command prompt. All right, so I'll do cd. Okay, so now we are in the right directory. Now from here I have to run this bunch of commands. Now what exactly are these bunch of commands? one option for you is to ask LLM to explain what these are, but I don't think that is necessary. So there are two things. One is Git and then another is GitHub. GitHub is different from Git. Git is the underlying technology, okay, is the exact software which lets us do the code versioning and all. And GitHub is a company which uses Git technology to basically create a hub, create a place where people can store their repositories. Now, what essentially we are trying to do here is we want to do git init. Now, you might be asking, like, how do I know if git is installed on my system or not? So if I do git, I can see bunch of commands, which means it's installed. And if it is not installed, you can ask LLM to guide you through the entire process. Okay. Now, most if you are a beginner, most chances are that you don't have git installed. What you can do is you can just go to git install Windows, or maybe whatever type of operating system you have. You download this and you just follow through the instruction, and the moment it is done, you will be able to access git by typing this. Okay. Now, wherever you are, in whichever folder you are, you need to do this. What this will do is it will take all the files which is in this directory and it will commit it. And after committing it, we can push it to our GitHub repo. Okay. How do we do this entire process is listed here. We will come to that. Okay. So I'll do git init. Okay, so it's reinitialized because it was already existing, because when we do npm, when we create a project using npx, it already starts a git repo. Now we will add all the files. When I do this git add dot, what it does is it adds all the file in the current directory. All right. So next is git commit, and we'll say first commit. So it's a message. So M stands for message. Okay, so two files changed, 142 insertions and 42 deletions. I'm not sure what all of these means, but let's assume that it means something. Okay. Okay, now we have to go to GitHub and we have to go to new, and we essentially want to create a new repo. To do. Okay, so we create a to do. What else we need to keep it public and create a repository. So let's go there and we keep it public and we create a repo. All right. Now, what else we need to do? Now you will see a screen with some commands. Follow this part, copy and paste in your terminal. Okay. So if I go to GitHub, we see these commands, right? Where are these commands? Okay. So it says, so we either can create a new repository or push an existing repository from the command line. So what we want to do is we want to copy this command and we want to paste it here. So what essentially this command will do is it will add a remote origin, and that remote origin corresponds to GitHub. Okay, so let's type it out, and if I hit enter, so it did not do anything, which means it added it. Okay, now I'll create a branch. Okay, it created. Now I need to push it. Okay, now push. The moment I do push, it should update all the code here. Okay, so it should be able to, and if we, okay, so it is doing something. Now notice here, it did not ask me for my permissions and all. Sometimes, because I might have already logged into GitHub using my command line before, and that's why. But it should not be the case with you. For you, it will prompt you to log in. By going to the browser, it will prompt you to log in, so that command line knows that you are the right person to push the code. If I reload this, you should be able to see all the code. You see this? All the code has been pushed here. Okay, source, public, and everything. Okay. All right. So let's now go back to the this particular. Okay, so it says your app code is now GitHub. Currently, our application code is on GitHub. It is not on Netlify. Now let's go to Netlify and try to see how can we essentially take this code and start using it to create a website. Now it says go to app.netlify. So we are already on that. Add new site, import from an existing project. Okay. So I'll say, do I see any add new? Okay. Add your site to Netlify. It says import an existing project. So I'll say, I'll click on this link, or we could also upload the entire directory, but we will go with import from Git. Okay, now let's deploy our project with, I'll click on GitHub. Just like GitHub, we have other providers like GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure DevOps. Okay, we will go with GitHub. Okay, so now it will, okay, so now Netlify would like permission. So essentially we want to authorize Netlify to read our repo which is lying on the GitHub. So I'll say authorize Netlify. So it is saying authorized. Now, where do you want to install Netlify? I'll want to install Netlify most probably in my main only select repo. Not all repo should be allowed. I think to do is the one. To do, yeah. So this one is the repo I want to. So I'll click on install. Okay, so I need to get my authentication code from my mobile. Let me open my authenticator app and enter this authentication code really quickly. Okay, so it's verifying and it should be able to verify it. Okay, so yeah, so this particular site has been verified. Now authorize, I've selected a repo. Now the fun part is configuring the build settings, because right now I have just imported all the code from GitHub to the Netlify. I need to somehow tell Netlify how it will run my project. Okay, so now we are in the configure site and deploy. Okay, so how do we do it? So on the Netlify setup screen, we need to enter a build command, which is npm run build. Okay, so one second. Okay, so it's already there. And then publish directory build, which is already there. And we could change it, but the defaults are good. All right. Now we have to deploy the site. Now what I need to do is I need to deploy to do. You see these variables, you can change it, but these are not required in our case because our application is a relatively simple application. So we can simply click deploy to do. If I click deploy to do, it won't happen instantaneously. It will take some time. And the moment it is done, so site deploy is in progress. The moment it is done, it will give you a URL. And the moment you have a URL, you can open it and you can play with your application. And in fact, while you as a user, because I won't be deleting this deploy, you can also right now visit this URL once this deployment process is done and play with this to-do application. Okay, so I'll let this complete and I'll resume the video once this is done. Okay, so the deployment has been complete. The moment deployment complete, it is saying great work setting up this darling. So this app name has been given randomly by Netlify. So if I click view site deploy, so this is our application, and okay, so this is done. Now open production deploy. You see this? Now this link is something that you can copy right now into your browser and you can play with this. So we have this app ready and it can be viewed from anywhere. It can be viewed from here in an incognito browser, or right now you can open your mobile phone and you can open it and you can play with it. Okay, I hope this entire process was much easier for you thanks to ChatGPT, because most of the suggestions were given by it. But I would like to take a moment to talk about maybe 1 or 2 minutes about some of the complexities which are involved in the deployment process, because deployment is essentially a manual process right now. Okay, ChatGPT is not able to write a code for you which you can put somewhere and deploy it in a go. And some application do provide such kind of functionality. But what I'm trying to say is that deployment is still something which we need to do manually. We need to monitor manually, and also there are terms, there are concepts which we need to understand to be able to better use sites like Netlify. And then there is Render. Render is another website, a cool website which offers you some free deployment capability. If you want to use it, you need to be well versed with some concepts. And again, becoming well versed with certain concepts is not that difficult thanks to tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. You can simply tell it to teach you all the concepts which are related to deploying a web application. This was a very simple application, okay? No databases involved, okay? And that is why we were able to use Netlify's free version to deploy it, because if we had databases and all, we would have to probably purchase database and manage those type of things as well. But the point of this entire lecture and entire course was to show you the process which goes into developing simple application like to do. Okay, so I hope you were able to enjoy this course so far. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Hello everyone. So in this last video, what I would like to do is I would like to show you, is there a way to somehow add the support for a database? Now, covering databases in one video is a complicated task, but what I will try to do is I'll try to show you how we can ask ChatGPT to maybe create a simple database like framework. Because right now what is happening is, if I am adding a task, let's say pick up grocery, what will happen is it is going to add this particular task within the memory of the browser, and if we reload it, it is kind of lost. Okay, so uh, now what happens is, can we the question that I'm trying to ask is, can we store it somehow, first of all, for a session? Okay, so that if I reload it, those tasks is still there. Okay, and then there is one more level of extension that you can potentially have, and that extension has to do with integrating the database, where even the session is lost, we still have got the some sort of login system where a user can log in and access their to-dos and things like that. Okay, so let me go here and let me ask ChatGPT, can we somehow persist the tasks we add across different sessions so that user can see it even when they reload the entire window? If we have such a method, can you provide me the modified code integrating that? Okay, now here please note that when it provides a new code, you won't be having any understanding of how it is doing that. You will have to probably go through the code and see exactly where the change has been made by ChatGPT, and correspondingly you can um, you know you can then add some more advanced features. But for that, to be able to ask such a kind of question, you will have to have some sort of understanding. Okay, at this point you don't need it. You can build fully functional web apps using ChatGPT. But if you want to have fun, if you want to kind of Also, understand these stuff, and these stuffs, understanding these stuffs is not that difficult. So let me copy this task. So it is suggesting that replace everything in your app.js. So let me open the app.js within the source file, and let me reload, let me open with notepad, and I'll get rid of this entire thing and I'll paste it with this, and let's save it, and let's see what happens. So it's saying okay, so this will remember. So now let me reload it. Let me add a task called pick up grocery. Okay, so let's reload it, but it is not saving it, right? Why it is not saving? One second. So let's see, did we save our code? Let's open it. Okay, so do we have the local storage thing? Because this is what the okay, so we did implement this, but somehow it is not happening. So let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, uh when I add the task and then reload the window, the task is still not shown. Maybe let's try restarting the server somehow. Okay, one second. Npm start, and let's, because although usually the way it works is it automatically detects your changes, but let me just try it out because I can see in the code that local storage has been implemented. Okay, let's do pick up grocery, and let's reload it. Okay, now no, something is off. So let's, the task is still not showing, which I added before reloading. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT responds. Thanks for testing. Let's troubleshoot it step by step. The local storage should work. So let's find a checklist. Did you replace the entire content? Yes, we did. Is there any error in the browser console? Okay, so it is suggesting that we check the error. That's a very cool advice, because as a developer we usually do these things. So opening the console, you can open this inspect window, or you can follow the, okay, so let's open console and let me type out something, maybe pick up grocery. And as you type out, notice if you see any red things in. Okay, so we don't see anything. Okay, so we can delete it. Let me add bunch of tasks. Okay, okay, let's reload it. All right, so we don't see any error. Okay, are you running the app locally? Okay, so local storage doesn't accept complex object you already use, so that's not like you might be. Okay, let's add logs to debug. All right, so it is basically giving us a new code to add the logs. So let us again open app.js, and let's try to replace this. Okay, so when I saved it with nothing, okay, so we see nothing. So let's okay now. All right, so now we have these logs added. So let me add pick up grocery. Okay, so you see this object which is created. Yeah, so it is done. All right, so now let's reload it. Okay, so it is loading the local storage, the task from local storage, but it is not displaying it. I see when reloading, the tasks are there which I saved before loading, but they are not they are not getting displayed. Perfect, you are super close. That means tasks are being saved but they are not showing, likely cause JSON parsing. Okay, 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 so it's doing something. So it is suggesting us one more new code. So let me now paste this new code, and let's me reload it. Oh, it's saying no tasks yet. Okay, let me print out local storage. But one second, local tasks. Okay, so let's add hi No. Okay, let's reload it. Yeah, so this time if I reload it, the tasks are there. So if I maybe check this and let me reload it now. Yeah, let me add one more task. Okay, so now we are fine. The database, the local database integration has been done. Now how can we extend it? We can extend it by probably having a login page, having a user page, but then the question arises that where do we store our users? For that you will have to set up a database. A simple database we have already set up here, and this database lies within the browser database. Okay, that we probably don't want. We want some sort of advanced database features like SQL or something of that sort. We can cover that, but I would like to close here only, and I would like to say that this is what we have in terms of database. You can obviously integrate and extend more features by asking ChatGPT. Thank you so much for watching this video.